Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr and the Warriors' descent as we continue on this season. Not really playing well this season. Bottom feeders out there in the Western Conference. Draymond Green still suspended, and they just cannot get on the right track in terms of this season. And with the recent news right now, with their 10th place in the Western Conference right now, Johnathan Kuminga trying to figure out how he can get more minutes, especially in a game where they lost to the Denver Nuggets on a buzzer beater from Nikola Jokic, which was an awesome game on Thursday. But looking at the comments stemming from that, it was leaked to Shams Charania that Johnathan Kuminga has lost faith in Steve Kerr and doesn't know his role on this team and just wants more minutes to play. And looking at it from that standpoint, I have Johnathan Kuminga's numbers there. 24.4 minutes a game in December, 14.2 points per game, 5.4 rebounds, shooting 56% from the field and 34% from three. Obviously, you want his three up, but to shoot at 56% from the field, that shows that he's playing well next to Steph Curry, playing well in those minutes and stuff like that, and obviously wants more minutes. And that has been something that has been brewing, right? Like Steve Kerr came out after and said, hey, I played 15 years in the NBA, and every year I thought I needed more minutes. And to come out and say that, and I understand where he was going with the sentiment in terms of, hey, yeah, all these role players want minutes, and he said along the lines that I have to be better, or my job is to make sure who plays at certain moments and how the game is going, and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, I understand that from the general coach's perspective and understanding that. But my issue was in terms of Johnathan Kuminga in that game, right? Like they were up 18 with 5:39 to go, I believe. And you take Johnathan Kuminga out. And over the course of this, you're blowing the lead. He was playing well in that game. And you don't put him back in the game as your team is blowing an 18-point lead with under 5 minutes to go. So looking at it from that standpoint, especially in that game when he has 16 points, was +6 on the field, 4 assists, 5 for 7 from the field in only 19 minutes. Let that guy continue to play. It seems like he's playing well, right? You have guys like Andrew Wiggins out there who hasn't been playing well. He hasn't. That's just the truth of the matter. And right now, Johnathan Kuminga has the more upside than Andrew Wiggins at this point. But to put all your faith in Andrew Wiggins, I don't know if they're trying to boost his trade value. I don't know. But to say that he deserved to be out there more over Johnathan Kuminga, I don't think that's true. And over the course of Johnathan Kuminga's career in Golden State, he's been up and down in the G League and stuff like that, has always showed flashes of potential. And it just seems like there's some type of reluctancy for Steve Kerr to play his young guys and say that he wants to win games, but then plays against the Denver Nuggets, the defending champions. Your team's under 500 at that point. You have an 18-point lead with Johnathan Kuminga, and then you take him out, and then you don't put him back in, and you're saying your job is to win games. But when you look at that type of game right there, you didn't play to win the game. So what is it on that standpoint of Steve Kerr saying, hey, I wanted to play the right lineups and do what's best for his team to win the game. And then one of the best players who's been playing well for you guys over the past couple months, past couple weeks, you don't put him back in the game? That's crazy to me. That just doesn't make any sense to me. And especially those type of games where it would have been a feel-good win for your team. And I'm not saying that you guys won in that one or whatever the case may be. But I think Johnathan Kuminga has earned the right to say, one, I deserve more minutes, and that he would have impacted that game. And especially the way that he was playing in that game in limited minutes. So looking at it from that standpoint, what are you talking about? And Steve Kerr has been a little questionable with his stuff, playing younger guys. James Wiseman was never in and out. He was always back down to the G League and stuff like that. And it doesn't seem like in the times that he wants to play these guys in a certain way that impacts other guys on the team, Moses Moody, Kuminga, James Wiseman when he was there. And it just seems that this reluctancy to go all in on these young guys and give them as much experience. And a win over the Denver Nuggets is more impressive, especially for Johnathan Kuminga, more important, rather than a win over the Detroit Pistons, who they beat tonight 113-109, in terms of 36 minutes, 11 points for him, and played 36 minutes versus the previous night he only played 19. And it wasn't like Johnathan Kuminga was in foul trouble with the Denver Nuggets game. He just didn't play him. But now you play him 36 minutes against the Detroit Pistons? That just seems weird to me. I just don't understand what he's trying to do as the head coach of the Golden State Warriors. And I'm not questioning his acumen. He's a coaching champion. He won as a player as well. Was an executive for the Phoenix Suns that led them to their success. D'Antoni, Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, bringing in guys that impacted their team like Boris Diaw, Leandro Barbosa. Obviously, he knows what he's doing in the scheme of basketball. I'm not questioning that. But what I am questioning is what he's been doing for the Golden State Warriors that just have me questioning that part of it. Like, and it started from Team USA as well, where he was talking about, hey, we're going to go smaller, we're going to be resizing. That even coaching mechanism when he wasn't playing Walker Kessler, despite the team not being able to rebound, continuing to play Jaren Jackson Jr., et cetera. And it's just all these things that are looking at Steve Kerr, especially with lineups and what is he doing in terms of winning the game. And I just don't see it. Mismanaging Kevon Looney, only playing Kevon Looney a little bit now. Obviously playing Trice Jackson Davis, who has been playing well for them. And it's just weird playing Brzezinski, who has been playing well for them. And it's like Johnathan Kuminga should be a part of that wave, and he is starting and he is playing well. But it's like you played him one game a lot of minutes, and then you didn't play him. Like, I don't know what he's going for in handling Johnathan Kuminga. Obviously, they did hash things out, apparently. Steve Kerr saying his door is always open. Apparently, they had a talk, whatever the case would be. Kuminga cut his hair. But yeah, I just feel like it's weird how he's handling Johnathan Kuminga, and I just don't think it's right, especially with Steph Curry, who's struggling right now, in a slump right now, which I'll get to. 24.5 points per game and shooting 41% from the field. That's not Steph Curry that we used to see, and I talked about that in my last Warriors video. But just looking at that standpoint from there, it's just like you need people that can help Steph Curry right now because obviously his shooting is not good enough. His efficiency right now over the last stretch of games is not good enough to pull you guys out of that water, where in the past his efficiency, his gravity would just pull you guys through those games and you guys would figure it out. This can be the new ushering of the Golden State Warriors with Johnathan Kuminga, a young guy who's athletic, that can be a wing, that can play next to Steph Curry and all these other guys, play in bigger lineups, play the power forward position, maybe even when Draymond Green comes back, and be formidable in your lineups. And he only does that with more playing time. That's the only way. I used to say it with the Boston Celtics and Robert Williams. Play the kid, whatever it is, play the kid, play him. And we saw the dividends of that, Robert Williams, and the boost that he gave the Boston Celtics and the impact that he had while he was there. He was just injury prone. That's the only thing. But with Johnathan Kuminga, it doesn't seem like those problems exist. And give the kid a shot. Play him more minutes. Give him a role in this team rather than just playing him out of necessity because you have to. Seems like there's always been flashes that he can show you what to do. Do that. And especially a guy that can help Steph Curry right now who's struggling. Klay Thompson's struggling. All these guys are trying to find their offense and they're looking around. Dario Saric has come back. It's like, give that guy a chance, man. Give that guy a chance. And just looking at the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry in the slump, not playing really well, and has just been really inefficient over the past couple of weeks, and it's just like he's drained, and he's trying to carry this team. He's trying to bring them along. But I think people also forget that Steph Curry is 35 years old, and he's going to need some help at this stage. He's not 30, and I'm not saying that Steph Curry isn't in great shape, basketball shape, isn't one of the best in the league right now as a guard, but there's going to be moments in the season where his inefficiencies can't be during a slump right now. And especially when they desperately need wins in the Western Conference, they're 10th. And you don't know how you're going to be able to pick it back up. Now, Klay Thompson has been trying to score a little bit more, and I don't know how that's going to work. He's trying. Steph Curry's trying. They obviously need some help, and I just don't see where they're getting it. It's just not good. And then we got the recent news of Draymond Green recently. I believe he was with the team, talking to the team at least, hasn't returned to basketball activities. But Draymond Green, your frontline guy, has been out as well. So that's not helping your team as well. And then recently, Chris Paul just fractured his left hand. So it's like they're kind of out of options right now. They can't really trade much in trying to figure out what they're trying to do. Andrew Wiggins is the biggest trade chip probably right now. Maybe a Kevon Looney. but it's just like you just don't know which way the Golden State Warriors are going to go, and I just don't see a way that they can improve and get themselves out of this slump consistently in the Western Conference, which has overall been good this year. Teams like Houston are scrappy. The Utah Jazz have been on a streak of games, 7-3 in the last 10. The Memphis Grizzlies are picking back up with John Morant. They just beat the Lakers and have been picking up. I believe they're 5-1 with him in the lineup so far coming back. The Phoenix Suns are trying to figure it out with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker getting their health situations back up. The Pelicans are feisty. So there's teams outside of Portland, outside of San Antonio, the rest of the West where you guys are, you guys need to win some games. And right now with Chris Paul out for a while, Draymond Green's still not back, and this minutes creation, this minutes friction with Johnathan Kuminga, that's something that you guys don't need right now. Steph Curry doesn't need that right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pull themselves out of that one. Moving on here. Moving on to probably one